life, time marches on. And it is a confirmed fact that by midday, I will be at the front lines. And, no! I'm so bad with predicting that stuff. Elfriede, right on time. Hi, ready to go? Yes, indeed. Is all well? Yeah. I'm sorry that I went a bit funny yesterday. Don't worry about it. So long as you're feeling more collected now. Yes, I'd say so. Fantastic. On an unrelated note, I happened to return to that pub yesterday evening for a little nightcap. I mentioned our Odysseus passing to a gentleman I began talking to. Gottfried points behind me, indicating a new arrival hobbling through the station's big iron gates. And here he comes now. Ah, no. Oh well. If it's his big dream. If he wants to be killed. Helmut. There's no honor in war. Elfriede, I'm so glad I could catch you. Helmut, hello. Ha, he said you knew one another. Helmut, you didn't really have to come all the way out here, especially so early. Oh, nonsense. I wouldn't miss the chance to see you off, Elfriede. Oh, good thing. I thought you would come with them, Helmut. And I must say, I was most taken aback to hear that you were heading to the trenches. I know. I can barely believe it myself. And I have a bone to pick with you. Why didn't you tell me? Sorry, Helmut. You have that right. Even for only a day. The things I would give to be in your place right now. Alas, I'm nowhere even approaching the soldier I would one day like to be. Isn't there like somewhere missing a close or something? I'm nowhere close. Approaching, I don't know. Me no English. I fear my presence would be embarrassing at most at this stage. Embarrassing. And if what Gottfried told me is true, potentially more than a little dangerous to his health. But I'm not bitter. I wish you the very best of luck, Elfriede. The lads at the front may be taking the fight to the enemy, but you'd better do your best to show them that we on the home front are holding our own, eh? The faint, undeniable faked smile on Helmut's face as he attempts in vain to feel pride at his own words breaks my heart. Sure. And I certainly would be very interested in hearing any and all tales of trench life when you return. Haha, that's a given. By hearing your stories, I do mean obsessing over every small detail of army life and making you repeat several occasions just so I can experience it fully. Haha, that's a given. Godspeed, Miss Rose. I fondly look forward to the day when I see your face again. You mean tomorrow? Yes, me too. Ha! Good luck. Right. Shall we depart, Gottfried? Hang on. Seems you're popular, Elfriede. I recognize that gentleman over there, too. Oh, I was already wondering why Gerhard is not there. I turn because if Helmut is there, why shouldn't Gerhard be there? I turn quickly, and Helmut turns as quickly as he can to see half a face poking out from the railway arches. It hastily retreats, but I've already clocked him. Gerhard? Nothing. Come out, Gerhard. Gerhard slowly and sheepishly emerges from the ark and sidles over. His hands are in his pockets. Is he really trying to appear nonchalant about this at this late stage in the proceedings? Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Gerhard. You just happened to take a casual 6 o'clock stroll down the train station. Shut up. I'm joking. Honestly, I can fully understand Elfriede having as many admirers as she does. Admirers? I'm not an admirer. Always the flatterer. Oh, sorry. How do you know her? Gerhard's eyes widen in horror at this question. I get the impression I'm going to have to chip in here. He's one of the people you always see around town. Gerhard and I are friends. Hey, why not say we're friends? I like Gerhard. He's a bit stupid and a bit overreacting at all, but all in all, he doesn't seem like a bad person. Friends? Yeah, I'd say so. I know you kind of struggle for them at the moment, but you know I'll never step you in the back, Gerhard. In times like these, doesn't that constitute a friend? Perhaps ally is more appropriate, but semantics. I had sensed, and I'm glad I'm not mistaken. Thank you. It means a lot to me at the moment. And I just came to say good luck. Thanks. And don't drop your guard. The trenches are dangerous, you know that. Very dangerous. I get the impression that you probably appreciate that more than most people around here. Indeed. You're important to the town, you know. To all of us. Gerhard, we've hardly spoken. We don't need to. When I see you around town, I know you're trying your hardest. So does everyone. It's good to see. It's important for morale to stay high. I know that the morale is only going to give people strength to come crushing down onto me, but that's a small matter. Strangely pertinent for Gerhard. It's very unnatural to see him putting this much conscious, thought into war-related matters. Yeah, he probably really fears that you're going to get X'd off, you know. And I mean, you're probably not, you're the protagonist. But still, you know. He has I'm pretty sure he has lost someone in war. That's probably his backstory. Gerhard, are you dying? What? No! I was just... Gerhard, you know if you're dying you can tell us. I'm not dying. Oh, well thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll be fine. Don't worry. That's the irony. She thinks he's dying while he thinks she's dying. Mr. Lear, there's no doubt in my mind that you are a good man. I implore you to reconsider my offer of enlistment in the Borschberg Home Guard. The hours can be tailored to account for your employment in the fields. I don't work in the fields. What? Gerhard, you got the sack? Mrs. Reinhold would do that? No, I don't think she was my biggest fan, but I didn't get the sack. I left. I had had enough of it. I've saved enough that I ought to be able to not have to venture outside my front door until this whole sordid business is over and done with. Well, you're either the richest man on these fields, or you're underestimating the length of this war. Gerhard is becoming a shut-in? Is he honestly going to just sit in his house and wait for the war to end? That's tragic. But I'm sure he knows better than I do what happens to him when he does go outside. Maybe it is for the best. Well, the Home Guard really did a great deal to alleviate certain troubles with my mental state. I am sure that, in your current position, an activity with such therapeutic properties would be useful. Thank you. But no. Very well. And I will say no more on the matter. Run! Are we about ready to depart? Oh, you're new. Aren't you the guy... Wait a minute, aren't you the guy I killed in the beginning? Or Elfriede guy I killed in the beginning? Ha! No, probably not. Probably not, I'm just imagining things now. A heavy-set man with tired eyes approaches and claps Gottfried on the shoulder. He wears a Wesslinger uniform with a distinctive medic's armband proudly adorning his sleeve. Ah, Private Sauer. Elfriede, this is the man I was telling you about. He's taking us to Factory Row. Marius Sauer. Ah, that's like a very German name. Although I don't know if Marius was that relevant at that time. Probably not, I guess. Oh god, what kind of voice do you? You look actually like you have like a deep voice. Does anybody have a deep voice yet? Wolf has an angry voice. Eugen has a noble voice. Gottfried got the yeah hey the player's voice, and Marius gets the deep voice. There we go. Morning, gents, lady. Marius Sauer, 3rd Company. Run, the train is leaving very soon. Oh, okay then. Let's go, Elfriede. Huh? This girl is coming? What's going on? I'll tell you on the train. It's fine. It's all above board. Above board? Whatever that means. I promise. That sentence was so very believable until I promise. A whistle rings out and the conductor shouts at us to get on board. Oops, no time. Better just embark. Go, Elfriede. We'll be waiting for you back here. All ears. Be careful. Please be careful. End of chapter. End of chapter 1. God damn it! Why am I never right? We rush on and wave goodbye to the others, and before long, we're speeding across the countryside. I think this chapter's never going to end. And not that I'm complaining, I'm just wondering if chapter 1 is so long, how many chapters will there be? And how long will they be? Gottfried slumps into a whole seat and puts a seat up onto the cushioned seating opposite. Across the aisle, Private Sauer and I sit opposite one another. I'm still not too sure about all this, Ran. Oh, it's fine. She's thinking of being a field post woman and just wanted to see the lay of the land. Can we just agree at this early juncture that she's entirely your responsibility, and that the both of you should be very careful indeed, naturally. The war is fought so that we might protect our women. To bring them out to the front lines almost entirely defeats the point. He turns and looks at me. His frame is rather intimidating, but his smile is kind. Yeah, that is why he's the typical dude with a deep voice, you know. Apologies, miss. I would not want to make you feel uncomfortable. I simply fear for the safety of a nice girl like you in war. Don't worry, I'll be fine. And, excuse me, but I've been wondering, how come you're in Boschberg? I got permission to go to the nearest town to restock some of my medical supplies. Relbruck and Hallmach didn't have any, though, so I had to keep going. It's been a couple of days. Leaving the company with one fewer medic is harsh, but nowhere near as harsh as if supplies were to run out. I imagine it's been different from what you're used to. Extremely different, which is why I'm worried about you. The front is rather dangerous place for a lady like yourself. I know. I'm prepared. That's good to hear, but it's still concerning. Aside from all humanitarian matters, the civilian casualty in the trench would trigger more than a few investigations. Ran is, at the very least, nominally a soldier. Nominally! Correct there. I see myself as more of a government worker. An upstanding civil servant for sure. Hey! I may not want to have this silly rank to my name, but I'm incredibly proud to be working for the government. None of my brothers are even gonna get anywhere close to this level of prestige. I'd wager your family background to be gypsy, correct? Forgive me any rusty nomenclature. No, gypsy works. It's what everyone else calls us. To be honest, at the time, I don't even think stuff like Sinti and Roma was a thing at that time. Did anybody say that at that time? And I mean, not that I'm saying, well, gypsy is completely okay. Nobody in Germany, at least, nobody uses the word for gypsy anymore. I don't know how it's in English-speaking countries, but I haven't heard anybody say gypsy in forever. Really, in forever. And, and that is good, If I personally always stand to discussions like these in a more practical way. If someone thinks it's really offensive because of historical reasons, why the fuck then should I go on saying it, Then let's just stop doing it, Often people are like, yeah, but for hundreds of years we said that, we treated these people bad for hundreds of years with that name. If they are really not happy about it being used now, then why should I use it then? What is the logic behind that? You know what I mean? Why can't we just be nice? If you want to be precise, though, my family is Mindy, Wesslinger Mindy. I grew up in a caravan neighborhood. I mean, I loved it there. But you can tell my brothers are going to live out their days right there, where they were born. Wouldn't a Mindy caravan necessarily travel, though? Oh, yes. Well, on the wheels they were born on. Then, whatever. Either way, I want more. Family's important, Ran. Oh, undoubtedly. I do send them money, but I'm still glad to have flown the nest myself. Family is important, but there comes a time when a man needs to find his own. Gottfried wants a family? Him? Someone so loose with the old half-hearted flirting, sorry joking, certainly could have fooled me. Right, I think I'm going to capitalize on this spare time and treat myself to some shut-eye. Good to be as alert as possible when we arrive, I imagine. Indeed. Good night. Wake me up when we're being shot at. He doesn't even say anything about that, okay. Marius and I sit here uncomfortably for a couple of minutes, both looking out of the window. I have so many questions, but I don't feel qualified to ask any of them. But you've got to start somewhere. So, what's it like at the front? You'll see. It isn't too bad. But at the same time, be very careful. Always keep your head down. Watch your footing, and don't place anything down that you'd like to hang on to. Sounds like it isn't too bad. No, it sounds like it is too bad, actually. So, you're a medic. Is there much call for that? Call enough. Are you alright? Would you rather not talk? No, it's fine. But talking to civilians is hard. How so? Maybe you'll see when you get there. But I don't know what to say. And as to what you said before, I'm only sort of a medic. Sort of? I've had a basic level of medical training, but primarily I'm a stretcher bearer. You know, going onto the battlefield to retrieve wounded men. You save the injured? I retrieve the injured. Sometimes we can save them. Though I'm technically an enlisted man, my role dictates I'll never have to do any actual fighting. Although my responsibilities to the company are relatively important, so I do have to take more care of myself than you might think. Can't just go charging into gunfire on no man's land without working out the precise maneuver I'll be pulling first. No man's land? Oh, sorry. The stretch of wasteland between Leyland's front line and ours. Wasteland? I thought it was fields. It rather quickly became wasteland. Perhaps today you'll see why. And then you might understand my absolute opposition to the idea of wading in with a gun drawn. You're hesitant to join the fighting too? So you became a stretcher bearer? But wait, if you're scared of the war, then why would you go into it unarmed? You think I'm scared? That's understandable. A lot of people have told me the same, but I'm not. Oh, sorry. I've met a lot of cowards recently. I look over at Gottfried, snoozing contently. I am a pacifist. When the war broke, I disagreed on moral grounds. You're a conscientious objector? You know the terminology? Yes, that is right. But to most people, it's just plain old coward. Chicken. Traitor. Any or all of the above. But you're running onto the battlefield. You're going in without a weapon. Ha! Indeed. My initial decision to volunteer was somewhat of a direct response to these people's accusations. So, thanks to them, I suppose. Although I don't... Like, is it really still pacifist, even though when you're doing, like, something not war-related, you're still kinda partaking in the war, you know? I don't know. Anyway, I guess that's up to interpretation. I don't hate the soldiers, I hate the war. But even I know it could well be the defining moment of our generation. The whole of society has been pulled into it in some form or another. Any idiot can see that it's a fool errand to try and stay out of it at this point. That is just impossible. Ergo, stretcher bearer. I can't stop the war, but I can save as many lives as I can. That's very noble. Yeah, I'd rather say it's very noble than at least you're technically in the army. Ha! That's not why I'm doing it. Even if I'm technically a private, I'm very far from thinking of myself as a soldier. I think of myself as a human being. If I can use my position to save just one life, then I'll do it. And the consequences may be grave, but I don't plan on restricting that ambition to a life belonging to any particular nation. And you're stationed in Factory Row? Do you know Windmill Corner? Yes, that's only a mile or so over. A mile? I can walk that. Yes, indeed. I don't exactly advise it, but if you follow what I told you earlier, and always follow the lead of those around you, I'm sure you'll be alright. Why do you want to? I have friends there. I need to see if they are alright. I am I am sure they will be.
Private Sauer.
Call me Marius.
Alright, Marius. There's a lot you're not telling me about the trenches, isn't there?
Yeah.
Why do you hold back? You know that I'm arriving in an hour or two?
The trenches are bad. Really quite bad. But the true horror comes from the repetition. The ability of the war to invade every facet of your life. You can't experience that in a day. Not properly. Even a full-time field postman would struggle to comprehend its true nature. So I'm hoping that you will not be too affected. I may be naive, but then I'm a conscientious objector. I'm nothing if not an optimist.
Marius smiled a wide smile. Jesus, I shouldn't have given them. You know, my voice is not really deep. My voice is not really super high and not super low. My voice is pretty like the average man's voice, you know? At least, that's what it sounds to me like. And voicing him actually kind of hurts me in the throat. I made the same mistake with the dragon in Far Away Story. Marius smiles a wide smile, but, as has been the case since I first met him, his eyes are tired. Very tired. Yeah, isn't that what she said about the dude in the beginning of the game? Did she kill him? No, that makes no sense. Why would she? Am I imagining things? I have to rewatch the first episode now. I found myself dozing through the rest of the journey, and when we were approaching the station, Marius shook me awake. By contrast, he slapped Gottfried around the head to wake him up, so I must have said something right. The train took us to a station fairly removed from the front, so we trekked for an hour or so to reach the entrance to the trenches. Finally, we reached a large body of woodland, and the land began to even out in its color. Eventually, we came across a shallow dugout. Jumping in, we followed the path that wove, a network of holes and walkways, sunken into the earth, gradually becoming more and more populated by barrels, crates, and blankets. As the sporadic machine gun bursts and distant blasts of artillery fire slowly fade into audibility, they bring with them a general hum of disarray. The atmosphere sours. We've reached a stretch of the line with men slouching on the ground and against the walls, some glued to their periscopes and others merely attempting to sleep. It's becoming very apparent that we have reached the war.
Here we are. Remember what I told you. Head down, eyes forward.
I'm taken aback by quite how dank it is, how dirty, how slothful, and how grimly subdued the men are. I was expecting camps, drilling, sorting, but half the men have just flopped onto the ground like it's some kind of opium den. I know conserving energy is important, but nobody here looks like they have a single bit of fight in them. They have that men the rifles and look out over. Wait a minute, does that make sense? They have that men. I guess the half of the men the rifles. They have that men the rifle. They have the men. Okay, I don't get it. And look out over no man's land are clearly on watch, but they certainly don't look very watchful. They look relaxed, like watching for armed threats to your life is the most normal thing in the world. Could this really be an army? Is this really a war? This is the trenches, huh? This is horrible. People are eyeing us suspiciously. We look so out of place. A couple of men shout things at Gottfried, very much along the lines of Nancy. I don't suppose you often see such finely dressed civilians in the trenches. More than a few soldiers wince. In particular after seeing me. I was expecting something else, if anything, but wincing as if I was already trailing internal organs behind me. These men know better than I do what goes on in this place, but surely that's fairly presumptuous, right?
We haven't gotten to Factory Row yet. Home sweet home. But but I will admit that it's roughly the same as this from an outside eye.
After another 10 minutes or so, Marius appears to have reached some geography he's more familiar with. A couple of men spring to life and swagger up to us. One or two begin pushing Marius.
Sauer, let's go! Buzz off.
The men dance around a bit, jeering. They're still moving incredibly restrictively. I'd wager partly from fatigue, and partly trying not to make too much of a scene and expose themselves to those who might have their eyes on the trench.
Sauer, brace yourself, man! The gauntlet has been thrown. Go walk off a pier.
Eventually, the soldiers get bored, wander off, and slump down again. Is this because you're a pacifist?
No. Even conscious get Jesus! Even conscious get respect if they've made their way to the trenches. Pacifist or not, being a stretcher bearer takes courage, and people know it.
So, what was that all about?
Oh, they're always trying to scuffle with me. They found out about my job before the war.
Which was?
I was a boxer.
A boxer?
Mid-rank, middleweight. Middle of the road, if I'm honest. I did alright, though. Won a couple of high-profile fights around Sandkuhl. Lost a few too, but I was making a good living.
And when the war broke out, violence suddenly became not the answer.
What are you insinuating?
Nothing.
Very convenient. I'm sure you wouldn't be quite so brave if you didn't know I was a pacifist. But I don't blame you. Everyone else saw it as enough of a hypocrisy to doubt the veracity of my ideals. But they're long held, let me tell you. Ever since finding myself having to take shelter in a library a few years ago and flicking through the text to pass the time, the beliefs I found within resonated with me and have been close to my heart ever since.
So, how do you reconcile that with
boxing? Easily. They're two different things. Sporting violence is as far removed from political violence as you can get. In boxing, someone gets hurt, and that's the beginning and the end of the story. In war, violence happens for a reason, and then has consequences. And that's the part that isn't alright.
Still sounds a little like having your cake and eating it to me.
Alright then, how's this logic? Look around you. If I had to sit in a trench for months between boxing matches, I'd probably quit boxing.
Fair play.
Good point, well made. That was actually really not too bad. Good comeback.
Marius stops walking and lazily indicates
something. Whoops. Wait a minute, I want to read what he indicates.
Ahead of him with his arm. Ah, okay.
Anyway, we're here. Factory Row.
I look around, and save for that tree, no man's land is as desolate and free of landmarks as anywhere we've been so far. This is it? Where are the factories?
Ha! The factories of Factory Row didn't last very long. Newer recruits have no idea why it's called that. I highly doubt the windmill of Windmill Corner still stands. Probably bombed out long ago.
A tragedy. Right, take me to, Gottfried produces a crumbled dispatch and quickly scans it. The Corporal's Schloss, please.
Really? It's called Schloss? Schloss is simply the German word for castle. Schloss spends his time.
Oh! No. Now I'm thinking if anybody in the world is called Castle. I mean, there is even an American crime series that is called Castle. But I wonder if I ever heard a person that is called Castle in German. No, I don't think so. On the other hand, I never heard Weil, and apparently, as mentioned, we even have a prime minister in Germany that is called Weil. So what the hell do I know? Schloss spends his time in his dugout. It's the sheltered bunker over this way. Splendid. Elfriede, come on. Actually, I think I'll stay out here for a little bit. Gottfried seems slightly taken aback, but I'm sure he's registered that I was coming here to see a specific part of the line. I glance further down the trench, land so far untrodden by our party, and point off in that direction. Marius, is Windmill Corner that way?
Yeah. Are you sure? I'm really not confident that's a wise move.
Surely one stretch is as dangerous as another.
A woman alone. I don't really see that, you know. Unfortunately, she's right. I can go with her most of the way if you like. Alright, I'm rather busy today anyway. Elfriede, I'll meet you back here at 6. The train's back at 8, so that should be more than enough time. Yeah, that sounds good. See you in a bit, Gottfried. Just under 6 hours to try and find the Boschbeck fellows and make it back. I think I can do that. I hope I can do that. If they're not moved or something like that, I don't know. Could be. Marius walks with me, and together we dodge stairs and occasionally blot out far-off explosions from our consciousness. Eventually, we reach a signpost and Mario stops. Here. Just turn right up ahead and Windmill Corner. Thanks so much for everything. I really, really appreciate it. Don't worry. I'll meet you back here at 5:30. That's not up for debate, by the way. It wouldn't do to be finding your way back alone. Yeah, that would be great. Marius, thanks. Till we meet again, Miss Rose. Okay, that's actually a good point to stop here, I think. Alright, so, enjoyable as ever. As ever. I really like this game, I gotta say. It's interesting. It's really interesting, and the characters are so well written. It's generally very well written. To a degree that I don't even understand what's going on anymore. But that's really my problem, not the game creator's problem. Yeah. So I can't wait to see what Elfriede witnesses now. Let's see what is still there from Eugen's noble talk and stuff like that. Probably not much. Anyway, thank everybody for watching. Come back for the next part, and I'll see you then. Bye bye!